Let's talk about Chris and let's get professional. All right, guys. Welcome back to DG360. And boy, we've been covering Chris Roberts for quite some time here this week. We've got like 2 pieces on it. He's coming back. He's back. Return of the Jedi. It's the 3rd part of the trilogy here. And he makes a post about something. I don't know if he wants to start on the regular. Let's read it together. So it's essentially like a 10 for the chairman, but 1 for the chairman, because he wants the top voted question that the audience has will be the question that he focuses on. And it's kind of like for Spectrum only. I would love if this was video content, but personally, beggars can't be choosers here. Some people I heard were upset that he just continually is posting. I personally love it. I like the fact that he's actually out there now and he's posting, and I want him to feel comfortable, and this is his dream and his vision, and I want him to be vocal. I want him to not be afraid. I want him to get out there in the public and talk to the people like he once did. 2020 has been like a crazy year where we've all been in a bunker and this crazy pandemic, and we're all paranoid and sheltered in and stuff. I like that he is out and about, and this isn't really the format I would like it in, but hey, it's great. So here's what he says. He says, "Hi everyone. I spend a fair amount of time reading community discussions and feedback, but I shy away from engaging as it can become a full-time job. One that I don't have available time for is running a company of 630 people spread around the globe. While directing 2 projects already takes away more than 40 hours a week, especially as we now have to over-communicate internally as almost everyone is working from home." So I get it. Time is a valuable commodity. I understand, I also think a lot of that tunes into the fact that there's been a lot of like really harsh criticism and stuff. Some of it, a little bit deserved. Some of it, I think that he should just kind of brush the dirt off his shoulders type thing and just, go to work and be out there in front of everybody. And I get it, but he's saying, hey, 40 hours, I'm putting in a lot of time. So I understand. Trust me, as a dad with 2 kids doing it on my own, I get that. I get that all the time. There's so many other games and titles I want to play right now. Trust me, I wish I had the time. I get it. But once in a while, reading something on Spectrum, I get the itch to share some context and information, like that Camural post we covered on the channel here this week. I do recognize that the question I answered last week was somewhat arbitrary, as I like talking about Star Citizen. It is my dream game after all, and I am in a unique position to know both the big picture and the technical issues. Yes, and you know what? Yes, it's exactly what we were talking about. He can convey very, very difficult technicals behind the scenes on the coding, on the programming, and convey them in such a manner that the general public can understand it. And I said that on a prior video. So he thought it may be fun to answer another question from you guys, but this time you have a hand in determining what question I answer. A few rules: no questions or timelines or schedules. He doesn't want to hear anything about when is it going to get done, when is it going to get done. He said that's coming up for the revised roadmap, the sprint report, the new sprint view map that we covered. Again, we covered that. Add as much detail to the question, but do not make it multiple questions about different topics. Yes, keep it on point, keep it on focus. Focus on systems that exist or we have said we plan to build. Blue sky theory crafting isn't going to be that useful, as we already have a huge backlog of stuff to achieve before we start wondering about new features. All right, wait, this is a change. He's saying, please, no more new ideas right now. We have all the new ideas that we can handle. This is not the Chris that I'm really accustomed to hearing. Usually I don't know which way to think about this. On one side, I love that it's going to continue to evolve. But on the other side, I'm thinking Okay, well, maybe it's just get down the business mode, get the Squadron 42 out with the basic core gameplay features like, hey, how about better, AI, and how about better? Well, we talked about that the AI has a lot to do with the server issue, so it's really not the AI that's the problem. It's really like the server and the core tech that's making things janky and desync and rubber banding and all that stuff that we're seeing with the AI. So that's really not even an AI issue. You won't even probably see that with Squadron 42. But flight system, these types of things that they've been focused on with Squadron 42 are probably at the top of the priority list right now. Caden, thanks for that subscription, bro. And that backlog must be sizable, right? Absolutely right. Nobody... Everybody in the project has a never-ending amount of like ideas, So the question with the highest number of upvotes adheres to these rules and will be answered to the best of my ability this weekend. Now, hopefully, he continues this. Like, Chris, dude, keep doing this. That's my suggestion. Keep doing this. And initially, I get worried because I feel like the Spectrum system and the Reddit system is busted because it's like the popularity contest in high school. Right? But we have like our own community now that can help out as well. So like I saw a couple topics up here that I want to suggest to you guys to upvote. And this one is up at top. God bless you guys. You guys came through. Oh my God. This one was in second place from Rainwalker is awesome, by the way. If you don't know who Rainwalker is, he always does these great posts. He was the guy who did the Chad McKinney Reddit post, and he does a lot of organization. He watches the Inside Star Citizen review. This guy's awesome. And he comes up with one of the most relevant questions that I ever have seen. Now, before I posted something about this, it was something about the Russian and Chinese communities, which is cool. They want localization. I understand that they do. It's a fair thing to talk about, and but there are end arounds for these communities to play Star Citizen, and this is something that should be focused on as well. I'm not trying to diss this at all from those people in Russia and China. Like I totally understand where you're coming from, but that one was up top. And this one was below it. And I was concerned because this was more important to me right now. Sorry, Russia and China, but this one was actually more important to me. And Rainwalker says, how is the dynamic economy shaping up? That is a very important question. I want to know where we're at since CitizenCon, where Tony Z showed us Quanta. Like the algorithm that is responsible for supply and demand, right? Where are we on this? It is server meshing an essential requirement before Quanta shows up? Another great poignant question, Rainwalker. Dude, yes. So everybody that's watching this now, on whatever platform you're watching it on, if you're a fan of this community, if you're a member of our fam, and you guys are seriously down for this community, go to Spectrum right now. Go to Rainwalker and upvote this, because this is the one that I would like to see. And I know a lot of my community would also like to see this answered. Okay, thank you, Soviet. Thank you, Ryu. Just keep on loading up the pluses on this, because this is what we want to see. Also, Soviet, I love you, bro. And I also think localization is a very important issue as well. So for Soviet, maybe throw one or two there too as well. But go back up here. Like this really does need an answer. Like, to me, we need to know where the economy's at. Like, cargo decks are coming in. Cargo decks, very important to the gameplay, as they will be areas where we're going to be able to carry or hold a large, vast amount of assets, commodities, etc. We also need to know how these will be able to be usable and functionable as the evolution of cargo decks continues on. Right now, it's just like baby steps. But this is the overall most important topic right now that I think, besides obviously core tech and server issues, which is why I also like this, because he added in if server meshing was essentially a requirement before the Quanta showed up. Also, a great little added question, Rainwalker. Love it. So vote that up, guys. I can't wait to see this. I think it's a good thing that Chris is doing this. Chris, do not stop. I would love if he did this like at least twice a month. I would also love if he like got out there, and for the people that are like hating and they're like, oh, I don't think he should be doing this type of thing. There were so many people that were asking to see Chris, and now that we see Chris, you're seeing the same people, and I won't say the names, but there's some content creators out there that were bitching that they hadn't seen Chris in forever. And then they switched up their tune and said, oh, we don't need to see this much Chris, which is bullshit. I mean, that's just like the most bullshit thing ever, that they changed their tune like that. Like they just completely flipped. I like the fact that he's out there. I like the fact that he's doing this. Chris, brush the dirt off your shoulder, dude. Dude. Just talk to us. And if it's through a post, great. So now that we talked about this is the great thing. I asked my community how you thought Chris Roberts was managing Cloud Imperium, how he was doing on the project. Some people would say and some people did in the comments, they said, you know, how are we supposed to know? Well, there's a lot of indicators, and yes, some of it's speculation, but the importance of it is because it is important to hold Cloud Imperium and Chris accountable for the work. In essence, some people would say that we are the publisher, and other people would argue that we're not the publisher. And the reason why there's this split on whether we are or aren't the publisher is because really this type of gaming funding hasn't happened on a level like this ever. And people are really kind of like all over the place in terms of what this really means for a project to be funded by the base itself that wants to play the game, and for it to be this successful with over 300 million people. My opinion is that while we don't have the power of a publisher, that the amount of voices out there that hopefully are more constructive in criticism than being trolly and Reddit-like will help them with the direction they need to go. Will help them with timelines. Will help them. Like, it needs to be constructive. So in essence, yes, I do feel that we are the publishers. That we are like, hey, these are the things that we want from the game. These are when we expect it. Doesn't mean that they're going to listen to us. It doesn't mean that, we don't really have a lot of power other than our wallets. Like, that's really where the power comes. So if people are like, well, we don't have the power, we kind of do. We kind of do. It's in our spending. It's in our spending. So I asked everybody, I said, all right, here's a new Star Citizen poll, everybody. It looks like we only got 530 votes on this, but this is only 2 days old. Usually we get a little bit more than this, but it's a pretty decent sample size. But look at that turnout. Look at that voter turnout. Is that not the craziest voter turnout that you guys have ever seen? It essentially zeroes itself out. 25% people saying he does a great job, 50% of people saying he's doing a fair job, and 25% of people saying he's doing a poor job. Like, that is the craziest poll results I have ever seen. It essentially equates to zero. Like, that is the the middle ground. Like, this is the absolute centrist way, like, to look at to see this poll. This is like a centrist poll. Like, it is basically saying, like, look how that breaks out like that. That is craziness. I've never seen that with this many people before. I used to be in a sociology class, and this is like what we would call a unicorn. When we would see something turn out like this, we would call this a unicorn. But anyway, it does. Yeah, Soviet says it almost looks like a middle finger. No, I'm not calling you average, Dutch. No, I am not. By far, you guys are way above average. You guys are awesome. One of the best, the most fun, light-hearted, amazing, intelligent individuals. Like, this community is like composed of like so many amazing people. But here's a comment from Killen, who's live right now. Killian says, if one thing's real bad right now, it's the communication to the invested part of the community. Invested meaning like the part of the community that not only put a lot of money financially in it, but also a lot of their heart too. Chris needs to step up and clarify lots of things, and he has been. And you know, look how much has changed, Killian, in 2 days. You know what I'm saying? Like, look since this post, dude. Like, Killian's right there. And like in 2 days, look how much Chris has stepped up. And then to see people like say, oh, that's too much, Chris. That's too much, Chris. So yeah, dude. Awesome. 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 I can't read all these in detail because there's just so many comments that we had here. But like, wow. T-Love says CR is a decent boss to build a company out of backer money. Imagine all he has to manage across multiple locations in various countries. The fact he has to work in current and also work in the future, he has to be thinking what will be at the end of this first run. Yeah, I mean, like, it's no small feat for a man to raise $300 million from, you know, an idea. I mean, like, you at least have to credit Chris with that. Snowfox says he needs to talk and post way more often since a single post to a salty fan causes tidal waves through the whole community. He needs at least bi-weekly show where he, even once a month or once every 2 months, Snowfox, you know, like the pillar talk, right? But like, I do like that since this poll, like we have seen him become more active. So yes. Yes, so it comes down to communication again. Royland says, I voted he's doing a fair job. He may be doing doing a great job in many areas, but the community communication is poor. And again, I really think that this really, in some way, I feel like we do help. Like, this is the thing. I feel like, I know that there's plenty of Cloud employees, Cloud Imperium employees that watch this channel, that listen to this channel, that pass around our content around Cloud Imperium, and I'm grateful to them for that, and I know who you guys are, and thank you. So I do know that this eventually gets around to people at Cloud Imperium, and that's why I think it's important you guys really do voice up on these polls, voice up in the chat. Oh, see you, Dark. Dark's got to go. Did I miss something? Dark, sorry, dude. Puma, thank you, dude. Too much. Chris is like saying there's too much garlic bread. There is never enough garlic bread. Garlic bread is live.
Too much. Chris Roberts is like saying there is too much garlic bread. There is never enough. Garlic bread is live.
Thank you. So anyway, Dark, see you, buddy. Thanks for showing up today, Dark Angel. Warren McKenzie says he's not really project managing. I'm a huge fan of CR, but he is sort of like Bill Gates. Bill doesn't run Microsoft. Sachin does. Someone who is more project oriented. So, like, you know, that's something that is speculative. Like, we don't know to the extent what Chris is, other than what we can gather from Cloud Imperium employees. I would love to get somebody from CIG as an interview. They'd never do it. But God, I would love to do that for the podcast. Just get somebody from Cloud Imperium and talk to them about like their day. Like, what do you do in a day? You know, I know we know a few people that might be open to it if we like did the whole anonymous thing. So maybe approach them. Maybe I should approach them for that. Now I got an idea in my head. Knapp says he is doing a fair job. 48%. Ha ha ha. He is managing 600 employees and people think it's easy. Tech says, I think you're missing a choice between great and fair. I don't think so. What do you think of that? Scott says, the level of detail, the grand idea, and the overall picture that is Star Citizen has only been driven by the passion of Chris Roberts from the very beginning. Yes, Scott. Yes. J-Dubs, who's here in the chat, says he is apparently still hard at work, and that is fantastic. But we don't know it until he broke his self-imposed silence last week. That gives a horrific impression to the backers, especially when we are in a period without effective roadmaps and scant relevant information on development. And as we have posted here since, Jay, like we're seeing that the new sprint view is going to come out. We're seeing like increased communication. And but I absolutely get where you're coming from. But like, just look how 2 days, in the matter of 2 days, how much has changed. And like, I really gotta credit that to Chris Roberts stepping up and being more communicative. So yeah. Max says we have to remember that we all baked his dream, not our own version. Backed. It was like baking. You're baking a dream. What ingredients are in that? It's probably apple and cinnamon. The project is coming together just slowly. His feeling right now is in communicating. Hammer. What's up, Jiro? How you doing? By the way, a golf clap to Jiro for doing all this work on our Discord lately. Thank you, Jiro. I know it's not easy, man. And Jiro has been helping out, linking Star Citizen leaks through on Discord. I would just like to take some time to thank Jiro for the work. It's something we got to continually look at, and I appreciate all the work that you do, Jiro. Thank you, dude. Thank you. So Max then says, the project is coming together just slowly. His feeling right now is in communication and trying to balance spoilers and property concepts with open development. Fair job. So these are all amazing comments, guys. Please go to this poll and add more to it. Killian, thank you. He says, hooray for Jiro. Yeah, I mean, like, really. Jiro's a workhorse, man. He knows what's up. He's like the technical genius behind it all. He's literally sitting there like the architect from the Matrix. And he's the guy behind it all. He's the guy behind all the technical stuff on the channel, man. Ripke says, I voted great job. This is just my personal view on it. I know I'll get some disagreements, and that's okay. And if you do, don't worry, Rip. Like, honestly, we're very open-minded community, man. This isn't the type of community where everybody yells at one another. I don't accept that. If I start seeing people not being like respectful, kick them on their ass, send them out. Like, yeah, there's constructive criticism, and then there's just like troll. And if I start to see the troll, or if I start to see the negativity, I just boot it right out. So yeah, Rip, don't worry, dude. Express your thoughts here, man. Express your thoughts, bro. Christopher says there is huge progress behind the scenes, and everyone knows there is. You just have to wait. If we can see there's barely any progress, then I would say that is poor job. I'm a bit on the this has never been done side of things. Yes, Antonio, dude. Yes. Dude, yes. So yeah, I think the fact that this project creates revenue far above everything anyone has expected and is still just going fine after what, 8 years? I think he's earned a fair share over the years, or learned over the years, and is doing a fairly good job. Flyrate says, I do not have enough info from CIG to make a fair assessment of Chris's performance as project manager. He does, however, have a gift for fundraising. Yeah, we can look at the revenues, Fly. We can look at, like, when I focus on the financials. We had a great talk on our podcast last Saturday where we talked about that. We talked about the revenues. We talked about subscription money. We talked about a lot last Saturday. By the way, if you aren't a VIP member, all you have to do is push the join button or become a $5 patron, and you'll have access to a lot more things here in our community. Got to put that paywall in to feed the kids. I might not after this stream, though. You guys might have just knocked down the paywall. This stream has been filled with love and amazingness, by the way, and I want to thank everybody on this stream today. Awesome. Didn't choose anything, says PB. We simply don't have the insight to judge that. It would be pure speculation. I disagree, PB. There is a small bit of there is a portion of this that is speculation, but we do have outliers. We do have indicators through the available financials on Companies House. That is public financial information in the UK. We do have what they are releasing on the state side of things in terms of their financials. So I do believe in terms of the financial health of the company that we do have the indicators to assess certain areas of the performance of Chris Roberts' performance. Now, in terms of, the employees there and how he's managing the different teams and the interrelation between teams, yes, that is a little bit more speculative in nature, PB. So I do understand where you're coming from there. Dan Watt, dude, that's amazing. That's the eagle from the Muppets, and you just got to applaud that. I voted fair job since, although I'm sure his work is stellar, it seems pretty obvious to us that his communication skills aren't, and his delegation skills aren't either. However, I will say that as backers, the biggest problem we have is that we don't bloody know anything. I wouldn't necessarily go that far, Dan, because they are transparent to a degree, but it seems like sometimes they don't give us the relevant information that we want when we want it. So I get where you're coming from there, Dan. We don't know anything because nobody is telling us anything. And I hope you've been watching on the channel here, Dan, lately, like this week, where they have been stepping up. Like, they have actually been stepping up in their communication. Chad McKinney, who stepped up and talked to us about the core tech, about iCache, about the server issues that they're having, spoke very candidly, did not dance around, just very honest with the community. Chris Roberts, third time's a charm now on Spectrum. These are things that we're starting to see where the communication level is starting to get back up to the point where we're feeling better. Now I want to see a little bit more production value in terms of like subscription money and revenues that we are giving them, and seeing that production value raising the bar a little bit on their shows. That's my own personal opinion. This massive project that has earned over $300 million, mobilized more than 600 developers, and changed the face of PC gaming expectations wasn't an accident. He's doing a great job. In terms of the industry, Christopher, yeah, dude. Like, in terms of the industry, right on, dude. Like, this is something that, like, if this is successful, will change the industry. It really will. And at least give people a moment of pause to think about how they want to fund the project, how they want to go about it. Absolutely, dude. Euro says voted for fair job because perfectionism can cause a lot of problems in development. Yeah. Yes. Skywolf says, I think CR is doing a great job considering he's building a company and trying to make 2 games simultaneously, starting without a pre-existing dev tools or foundation work with, while using a dated game engine. With SC and SQ42 being the first titles in the current lineup, they are not the 5th, 7th, or 15th sequel in development by his still growing teams, so there wasn't really any aspect of development that teams could bring from past work, leading to the monumental tasks and time to build up these games. The COVID-19 pandemic hasn't helped this year either, but even still, they are pushing to progress when others have gone silent or canceled due to remote development. Yeah, I mean, like, you got to give them that. You got to give them that, Sky. They're trying to work through this time right now, right? It shouldn't be the end all, like, excuse, though, right, dude? I see. Thank you, Jay. Anyhow, guys, there's Hammer Dookies right there. I'm sorry, guys. There's so many of you guys that I want to get to right now in these, but like, I just don't want to bludgeon you guys with so many comments that are watching the YouTube video right now as I put this out from the stream. But like, please take the time, go in here, tell us what you think. Cloud Imperium does look over these. I'm pretty sure they do. I'm like 90% sure that they get perused. And yes, definitely take some time out to vote in this poll, which the results are still like blow me away. That's how the results that's how it turned out. Let's update it, see if anybody's voted since. But like, I cannot believe that it came